Hey Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to attempt to pick, I suppose, our round one team next season. I haven't given it much thought. Bit of a slow day today. I thought, why not? I did one last year and I did one, I think, November 3rd. So I'm leaving this one a little bit late, but we've got our draftees, we've got our trades done. So really, it's a full selection of players to make this team. So obviously, in the comments, put your changes or what you would do. It's going to be very difficult because I don't know, just battle out, memory out. There's going to be a lot of changes in all parts of the ground. Really, it's not going to be that easy. So let's get straight into it. Where should I start? I'm just going to go what I usually do, which is kind of the locks. I think generally. So I think we're pretty safe to say that's Jack Steele. We're pretty safe to say that's Max King. Back pocket will be Wilkie. I'll go Higgins. So the ones that I think are definitely in, obviously Marshall. I think that'll be McRae. I'd like to think Filippo. There. Just checking you guys can see everything. Yep. Cool. Okay, so wing, I'm going to go Wilson on that wing. Wood to press forward, and obviously with no memory, we need to combat that with some extra height. I'm missing a superstar in Nasiah. So Nasiah Wilson, that just excites me. That gets interesting. Does Sinks go there? Centre half back, fullback. I think fullback is still going to be Dukes, to be honest, straight off the bat. I don't think that's going to change. I think if we've got our midfield there, but who are the midfield rotations? So Clark, absolutely. Hunter Clark will go through there. Stocker, maybe. Windy, obviously. Windy's got to play. I think he's going to have a big year. Marcus, I think he's primed. For now, I'm just going to go Sinks there anyway. But we might change it later on. But I think that's, both sides you can just see that they're just building, like just guns across the board. Half forward, maybe a Liam Henry. Interchange. See, I want Burnsy in the team as well. This is going to be tricky. Jimmy Webster, does he go back pocket as a default for now, or do we go to the future? Does Hasty? I don't think that's going to happen straight away. Assuming it's a balance, I think Ross will probably go with experience. So Webster, Howard, Wilkie, Sinks, Miller, centre half back. Is it Wilkie? Sorry, is it Cordy? Is it Hammer? Tyree won't be playing because he won't even be training until February, so that's not going to happen. Is it Barrett? Does Barrett go fullback and Howard go? Because he's quite a good size already for a young kid, but I just don't imagine. I think Hammer's more likely there, but I think I would go Hammer, but I feel like Ross is going to go Cordy. That's what I'm feeling, something like that. I'm going to leave that for now. Forward pocket or half forward Owens? So I'm going to go Butler. Forward pocket Owens. Who's the other half forward then? Yeah, see, Hugo as well. Brad Hill. Jesus. Maybe that's Wilson. Let me just. I know he'll go on the wing, but I'm just feeling like they'll rotate. So if that's Hill, Wilson, but I feel like Wilson will play wing anyway. But Hill had a great year, and I don't see why he doesn't start on a wing anyway. Um, but by the end of the year, Wilson will own that wing, I think. But it's just good to have Henry, like Sinks, Wood, Henry, Naz, Hill, Darcy. Like, I just feel like that's quite both sides, both wings across each line there is quite strong. Um, but I know most people will probably put Wilson on the wing anyway. I just think Bradley had a good year and experience wins out. And Darcy was so good hitting the scoreboard anyway, so I'd kind of like to think that he does push deep, hit the scoreboard, but also push up to the wing and rotate with Hill that way. Centre half forward. Is that a see that's more likely to be Hammer, but I just don't know. I'm not going to be able to fit everyone in the way this is going. Like I've got one bench spot there. I mean, ideally that's the situation, and maybe I'm just going to go a Hail Mary. I'm going to go Ari. I don't care. Someone's got to learn it. It's not going to be Tyru just yet. Barrett, I think, is a very strong smoky, but it's early days. I haven't even seen him train, so um, and Ari looks like his tank's improving. From the photos, it looks like he's put on some size, so that could be an interesting one. So I have to choose out of Burnsy. This is ridiculous. I have to choose out of Burns, Carroll, Garcia, Dow, Jones there, Patrick said Cooper Sharman. Have I not put him in? See, Sharman is my boy, so he's got to come in because that forward line needs him. Wow, is there anyone there that doesn't deserve to be there? So I think Paddy Dow, Carroll, they'll fight it out. Burns as well. Although I rate Burnsy so highly, so for me to not even like be able to fit him in the team, because like if I look at every player, I feel like they should be there. Do you guys agree? Like, I think Jimmy's probably one that might be on the edge, but like I haven't even got Stocker in the team, and I love Stocker. This is extremely difficult. So that's kind of one iteration. The other would be, I guess, Stocker, although he played in the midfield a little bit back end of 2024, and I really liked the way he played. And then additionally, like someone like a Butler would be one that could make way for a Stocker, a Burns, like Zach Jones even. But I guess that's the point. Is these it's battle for spots. So like just because Zach Jones had a really good back end of 2024 doesn't mean he's a lock for 2025 because of the improvement and the inclusions. Like McRae comes in, he's going to push out like Seb retired, but Seb did play back half of the year anyway, and Jones did. So Jones is really the out for McRae, if that makes sense. It's not Seb. We say it's Seb, but it's not. It's Jones. Because additionally, like you take McRae out, Jones would have been the one there. But Ari, I'm not sure if or if he's debuted, but I don't know if he plays there, if that's too inexperienced. But the alternative would be to get rid of him and play Hammer there. And then centre half forward. Who would even be centre half forward? Ideally, Tyru long term, I'd have centre half forward. I think that him and King working together would be really exciting. There's no real centre half forwards. I mean, unless Sharman. Unless You did. Now we're just going to be crazy, but if you did Shaman, get rid of him there. Because I know a lot of people want King higher up the ground, so put King there, get him out of the square, put Shaman in the goal square, so he's the leader and he can lead into all these lanes here. These two kind of float. Wilson Henry are the speedsters that can work up the ground and work back. Caminiti there. So this might look a little bit better. And then that opens up a spot for a Jones. So out of that, I don't like Travalia could even debut as a sub. Jones, who are we missing here? So yeah, see, I want Garcia. But then I don't get Burns. But like I'm looking to the future. Maybe even Butler. He's no guarantee. Windy definitely. Garcia, Hammer. So it's quite a blend, I guess, this team. Webster's not really keeping out a youngster. He's keeping out Stocker, but I don't think Stocker's a back pocket. Not in the way that Jimmy is. He's a bit different in that way, but that's maybe one I'll leave in the comments. I think when I did this last year, it was the same one part of the ground that I didn't know who to pick, Stocker or Jimmy, because I think Stocker is a good like midfield rotation now. Jimmy's kind of our best pure back pocket. He doesn't play any other part of the ground. That's his position. Whereas Stocker's a bit more versatile. So if Butler, say hypothetically, Butler doesn't continue his good form, yeah, then you can go like maybe Travalia, Stocker. Then you're pretty midfield heavy though. They're all mids. You probably do need Butler just as that extra small because we don't really have that many dedicated smalls. Boxall, Barrett. So Burns is one that is on the edge. I guess this makes sense. Like they're not all certainties. Like the certainties to me are mainly in the team. It's the players that need to fight for their career, and a lot of these players got 1 year deals for a reason. Burnsy did, Jones did. I think Stocker got one or two, and then obviously the players yet to debut. So it probably makes sense. Travalia, if he trains really well, impresses in the pracky games, he's probably one that could surprise and go straight in there, and maybe you can push Sinks into the midfield, and maybe Garcia, can get a gig as well. This is probably the toughest one I've done. I don't mind King being out of the goal square, though. I think that's quite dynamic. He can push up the ground, create that outlet out of the D50. Sharman stays a bit closer to goal. He's a bit more mobile. Good lead, good kick. Takes the pressure off King. Higgins is our best small, guaranteed. Owens is the hybrid. Can just crash packs, and he's just that Cam Rayner type. Wilson continues to do what he does. We don't necessarily need to put him on the wing full like that. Just ease him into it. He's still a winger. He's basically another winger with Brad Hill. They're just going to work that side. Wood and Henry, I think, work really well together. Caminiti's played back. That makes sense unless you go Cordy, but I think people probably would rather Hammer. That just means the forward line's a little bit light on. Naz and Sinks, I think, just do what they do. We don't want to change too much. We've lost a lot of players. So then to counter that with a lot of change, I don't think is the best way to go. Not away from home round one against Adelaide. I think we need to be somewhat settled. And, the only change there out of that back half is Battle out and Caminiti in. It could be Ari. But I think that's not a bad team. Unless you go Brad Hill bench, Wilson there, and then you put a Burns or someone there. But now I'm just trying to, there's no one team. I think this is the closest. But I hate not having Burns in there. I'm just going to do it now just to make myself feel good. There you go, Burnsy. Good on you, mate. So, yeah, you kind of get the idea of the sort of team I'm going for. I think that team that I've just picked here, it can run, it's endurance. There's a lot of smart players, a lot of good kicks in this team. Look at Naz to Hill to Wilson. all beautiful kicks. Sinks, Wood, Henry, Wilkie. That left-footed side with Wood and Wilkie. I don't mind it. It's got a bit of everything, I think. Um, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Sanus. Put it in the comments. Let me know what changes you would make. What's your team, basically? Don't just say that team's way off. Tell me why. Tell me what changes you would make. I don't think there's any one team that's the team. I think it just depends on week to week what we want to go for. But the fact that it's difficult to choose outside of maybe 6 or 7 guaranteed locks is a really exciting thing, because that just means competition for spots is at an all-time high. And the fact that, I'm even thinking maybe Brad Hill or Mason Wood don't make a wing spot is a really exciting sign. And then obviously centre half back is the big one, and whether we play King deep or not. I think to fit Sharman that way, I think works best to have him deep and then have King as a centre half forward. And then he can obviously push back into the goal square if he needs to during the game. Midfield, I think is, I think most people would agree that's the midfield: Steele, McRae, Filippo, and then you would rotate players through there. Garcia, I've put on the bench. Burns, I'm not sure. I'd like to put Stocker there as well. There's a lot of players on that bench that I just can't fit on there. Like Carroll, Dow. I can't even put Dow in. Hunter Clark. But again, a lot of these players are players that have got 1-year deals. They did play a lot of football last year. They're fighting for their spot in the team, and I think that's only a good thing. So I'll wrap it up there, Sanders. Thank you very much for watching. Put your thoughts in the comments. Please subscribe. We've got now only about 180 to go, so we've chopped about 100 off in the last week, which is exciting. So a couple more weeks, and we should hit 12,000, which will be unreal, and obviously more content to come as usual. So thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your week, and as always, go you mighty Sanders. See you guys.